Hello everyone, we have compiled this video for those planning a 5-day holiday in Istanbul. If you have 5 days or more to explore the important places to see during your visit to Istanbul, museums, palaces, mosques, historical bazaars and many more, we tried to tell you about the places to see in Europe and Asia. We wish everyone a good time in advance. Our address on the first day is Sultanahmet Square, an indispensable point of Istanbul, and its surroundings, and our first stop is Gulhane Park. You can start the day with a nice breakfast in Gulhane Park, which leans against the walls of Topkapi Palace, with its giant trees, dozens of types of birds nesting in the trees, and cats that hug your feet. From there, you can go up the Osman Hamdi Bey slope to Topkapi Palace. The construction of Topkapi Palace, which was started upon the request of Fatih Sultan Mehmed after the conquest of Istanbul, was completed in 1478. The palace, which started to serve as a museum on April 3, 1924 and therefore has the feature of being the first museum of the Republic, is one of the most magnificent palace museums in the world. And you need to spare at least 2 hours to visit it. As you go down from the palace, Hagia Sophia Mosque will greet you on the right. Hagia Sophia, which is among the most important monuments of world architecture history that have survived to the present day, holds an important place in the art world with its architecture, magnificence, size and functionality. Hagia Sophia is the largest church built by the Eastern Roman Empire in Istanbul and was built 3 times on the same site. The structure, which was open to worship as a church for 916 years, was converted into a mosque when Fatih Sultan Mehmed conquered Istanbul in 1453. Hagia Sophia was converted into a museum in 1935 by the order of Mustafa Kemal Ataturk and the decision of the Council of Ministers. It started to serve as a mosque with a new arrangement made in 2020. You can have your lunch in Sultanahmet Square, in one of the restaurants that offer you traditional tastes of Turkish cuisine, and then continue your tour. I can recommend you the Sultanahmet Meatball restaurant. Immediately after dinner, we go to the renewed Basilica Cistern among the public. This structure, also called the Basilica Cistern because there was a basilica in its place before, dates back to the Byzantine period. This unique structure, which is operated by the Istanbul Metropolitan Municipality, serves both as a museum and hosts many events. After visiting the cistern, we return to the square and go to the Sultanahmet Mosque. The Sultanahmet Mosque, one of the most successful works of Turkish Islamic architecture, was built in the 17th century by Sedefkar Mehmet Aga, a student of Mimar Sinan, upon the request of Sultan Ahmet I. The mosque, together with its large social complex, is one of the most magnificent structures in the city. Now, we go to the Grand Bazaar in the Beyazıt district of Istanbul, the oldest and largest covered bazaar in the world with its history and size. There are more than 3,500 shops in the bazaar, while the number of visitors to the bazaar can exceed 40 million per year. We are on Secunda Day and our first address is Karakoy. I suggest you have a breakfast that will delight your palate at the seaside venues in Karakoy, or drink tea with a fresh bagel with plenty of sesame seeds that you bought right from the pier and watch the view of the ferries and seagulls decorating the Bosphorus. Walk across the Galata Bridge. Watch the fishermen casting their fishing rods into the sea with the sounds of good luck. And feed the pigeons waiting for you in front of the new mosque. The new mosque is a mosque in Istanbul whose foundation was laid in 1597 by the order of Sophia Sultan, the wife of Sultan Murad III, and was completed and opened for worship in 1665 with the great efforts and donations of Turhan Hadisi Sultan, the mother of the then Sultan Mehmed IV. The new mosque, which contributes significantly to the silhouette and visuality of the city, is the last example of the large mosques built by the Ottoman family in Istanbul. We are going to the Spice Bazaar, which is right next to the mosque. One of the oldest covered bazaars in Istanbul, the Spice Bazaar was built in 1660 and has been known by many different names throughout history. After the mid-18th century, it began to be called the Egyptian Bazaar because the majority of goods came from Egypt. The bazaar houses different types of shops, including herbalists, spice shops, jewelers, and souvenir shops. If the appetizing smell of spices in the spice bazaar has made you hungry, pickled juice with fish and bread at the historical Eminonu fishmongers is a traditional stop at noon. Our afternoon route suggestion is Fatih Balat. The neighborhood, which was called Petrian in the Byzantine period, was home to Greek citizens who had become rich thanks to trade. They left their homes just before the conquest, but returned after Fatih Sultan Mehmed guaranteed that they would not be touched and would be free to worship. Balat, like Haskoy across from it, has hosted a large Jewish population for years. For this reason, it has survived to the present day with its synagogues along with mosques and churches. You can enjoy exploring Balat all day long with its narrow streets, bay-windowed houses on both sides, recently opened boutique cafes, historical churches, and its lively atmosphere where you can easily feel the street life. We are on third day and our address is Beyoğlu, a district famous for Taksim and Istiklal Street. Beyoğlu, formerly known as Pera. You can start your third day energetically with breakfast in venues set up in historical inns and Turkish coffee cooked on embers with its foam. Because there are many places to visit and see in Beyoğlu. Beyoğlu is a cultural center today with its museums, Taksim Square, Istiklal Street, and historical streets. During the Byzantine period, the Pera part was an important trade center where the Venetians and Genoese lived. After a long walk on Istiklal Street, we are at the Galata Tower, one of the most well-known historical structures in Istanbul. It was built in 528 and has taken its place in history with different names over time. Studies have shown that the tower is 70 meters high including its roof, has a wall thickness of approximately 4 meters and weighs 10,000 tons. We recommend that you do not return without taking a photo here. You will definitely find a place to suit your taste for lunch right at the foot of the Galata Tower. You can also visit the Galata Mevlevi Lodge while walking from Galip Dede Street to Istiklal Street. It is the first Mevlevi Lodge in Istanbul and one of the most important Ottoman works in Beyoğlu. In Beyoğlu, on Istiklal Street, on the left from Galatasaray towards the tunnel, you will see St. Antoine Church. Its construction began in 1906, and the structure was completed and put into service in 1912. Its architect is Giulio Mongeri, who was born in Istanbul. The church, run by Italian priests, is the largest Catholic church in Istanbul. The church was built of reinforced concrete and in the Italian neo-Gothic style. You can also shop at Sisik Passaji, Aznavur Passaji, Atlas Passaji on Istiklal Street. You can choose a place for dinner at Nevizade or Azmli Mesut. We are on fourth day and you can start the day at Rumeli Hisari, which seems far away from Istanbul but is very easy to reach. Rumeli Hisari, located in Sarıyer district of Istanbul and built against attacks that may come from the Bosphorus before the conquest of Istanbul, is located opposite Anadolu Hisari. The structure, which started operating as a museum with the arrangements made in 1953, is one of the impressive places to visit in Istanbul. Bebek district, which was a simple Greek fishing village during the Byzantine period, has become one of the most beautiful districts of Istanbul with its historical mansions and structures today. Fatih Sultan Mehmed appointed a battalion leader nicknamed Bebek Çelebi to ensure public order during the construction and siege of Rumeli Hisari, and the district takes its name from here. When you come to Ortakoy, fill your stomach with the indispensable flavor kumper. Yildiz Park. It is a large grove covering the hillsides between Besiktas and Ortakoy. This area, known among the public as Yildiz Park, is essentially the outer grove of Yildiz Palace and has an extremely rich vegetation. Walking trails, sitting and resting areas, country cafes, and interesting landscaping have also been created within the park. The park, which impresses each visitor with its view where the ever-changing beauties of the Bosphorus can be seen, its century-old trees inherited from past generations, water pools, and ponds, is an extremely suitable walking area for both city dwellers and visitors. You can continue on your way after having lunch here and recharging your energy. And our address is Dolmabahce Palace. Dolmabahce Palace, whose construction began in 1842 and continued until 1853, was used as a residence and place where official business was carried out during the reign of Abdulmecit. The palace, which was also used as the presidential residence during the reign of Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, is also of great importance for the history of the Republic, as it is the place where Ataturk passed away on November 1938. We are on the 5th day and we are going to the Anatolian side. Of course, we definitely recommend that you take a ferry to say that you have visited Istanbul. And the address you will go to will be the Uskudar ferry line. We continue our walk towards the Maiden's Tower by taking in the Bosphorus view and sea air from the renewed Uskudar coast. You definitely need to get the museum card in advance to go to the renewed Maiden's Tower. Otherwise you will get on the boat with a high fee. After visiting the Maiden's Tower, we go to Cengelkoy and Kuzgunk by minibus, and you can drink your tea and coffee facing the sea at the Cengelkoy Karalty Cafe. After resting, if you want to watch Istanbul from the Anatolian side from above, our address is Yoros Castle. Yoros Castle, located in a hilly location in the Anadolu Kavagi district towards the Black Sea exit of the Anatolian side of the Bosphorus and established to control the entrance of the Bosphorus together with the Yoros Castle, is one of the most popular places to visit and see on the weekend in Istanbul and have breakfast or dinner with a magnificent Bosphorus view. Located right next to Yoros Castle with a magnificent Bosphorus view, Yoros Castle Cafe and Restaurant is an ideal place for those who want to get away from the noise of the city and enjoy rest, food and drink in a calm and peaceful natural environment, especially during the weekend in Istanbul. Yes, friends, our 5-day Istanbul trip is over here. If you have one more day, you can go to the wonderful islands of Istanbul, Bayakada, Heybeliada, Kanaliyada by ferry. Also, if there is another place that we missed and you would like to recommend, definitely do not forget to write it in the comments section. If you want to thank us, you can like our video and subscribe to our channel. See you in our next video. Goodbye.